I was always taught it's not good to brag. When you're talking about yourself, it's selfish, and you should focus into other people. But today, I'm going to share about myself and my life, because I think a lot of you have been where I used to be. And when you're following my journey, I know you're capable of doing great things more than I have ever done. So here stands in front of you today is an island girl who never expected a very big life at all. My life was small. My village was small. The thought of owning companies and traveling the world is beyond my wildest imagination. Yet, I have gone so far beyond the world to where I grew up in life that it's truly like living a different life. And the challenge with that, with going beyond to what I started with, was transcending beyond fears and doubts, and going beyond the misunderstanding of what was possible, who I was, and what I was capable of. This is my island. This is one of the 7,107 islands which constitutes the Philippines. Yes, you heard me right. 7,107 islands. This one is barely big enough to have people on it. This is my life. This is my world. Yet, I have gone so far beyond the world that this island girl would barely recognize me today. Folks, this is a real deal. This is my mom. She owns a meat shop, so we make fresh cooked meals every day, and she works in a bakery. My father made $200 a month for a family of 5, so we work in the morning and then tomorrow we work again. I was told I was a worker, just like the rest of us, and I'm not allowed to complain. I remember while working in the bakery, I have to wash 100 pieces of molds every day. I have cuts and blisters all over my hands, but I'm not allowed to complain. These are not nice pastry molds. These are used milk cans where they're kind of rough on the edges. You know, I have that intense desire to go do like other kids do and what's going on the island. Just like the parade that's going on every year. You know, when you grow up in an island, when you get excited to see people. And I can't even experience that parade that happen every year. While working in the bakery, having the baked goods in the oven, I have to run as fast as I could to catch a glimpse of the parade, knowing I have to turn around before baked goods burned. Oh, I resented to be that position, to not have freedom. There was this family, a comparatively rich family named Brown. And my mother would yell at me, "Why are you resting? You're not a Brown." But I'm tired. We are all tired. Stay in your lane, stay in your place, let's get back to work. So that kind of a comparison is some kind of a put down that I'm not faster, better, wealthier than a Brown. You know, despite that childhood difficulty, my mother was able to send me to college, barely enough to pay for my tuition. So I was hustling and selling this used cell phone. I would change the packaging and I would sell it to my friends and family. I was selling different merchandise. And as my life advanced, one day, I get a chance to travel to Hong Kong. I'd have to tell you, the very first moment I've seen Hong Kong, my mind almost exploded. I was stunned. I was speechless. What? There's a bigger world out there outside of my island. There's tall buildings, buses, important people wearing their nice suits, carrying their briefcase. And I thought, I don't know what they do, but I want to be like that. I don't know what they do, but I want to be like that. You know, I work and try to make a living, probably work a lot harder than I should have. And this led me to a new opportunity. And this opportunity led me to move to the United States right after college. At first, I was a makeup artist. I worked in retail. I was a brand ambassador. Brand ambassador sounds fancy. I was a brand ambassador at Costco. You know that lady that wears a hairnet? That was me. I was giving food samples at Costco. I have to tell you, I was popular. Not because they've noticed me, but what I was giving was free. Then I realized others are making more money than the amount of work I was putting into. I need to make my life better. Then one day, I realized that I can list beauty items online without needing the inventory. So I did. And I started with $20. So I made my first sale. I have to say, I'm so grateful to that Costco manager because he told me that any items that ends with 0 or 9 is a clearance items. I was working 13 hours a day, packing and shipping, and in 6 months, I sold $500,000. I was obsessed. I would never have this opportunity ever. So I was packing and shipping in the garage. My neighbor Lorena complained that the cracking of my tape disturbs her at night. She wants to kick me out. It kind of upset my feeling. And so I paid my debt. I bought an SUV because I need a bigger space to put the beauty products. I was the crazy lady that would call Costco all over California if they have this item 8, 9, 10. And if the other person in the other line would say yes, I would say, save me a pallet. I was obsessed. I better make this work. This is my chance. And in 1 year, I sold $1 million. And in a few years, I sold $20 million. Working in my garage, having 2 virtual assistants. Notice the journey. Island girl with no hope. Young student overwhelmed by the outside world. Immigrant to the US, working 13 hours a day, working minimum wage, now becoming an entrepreneur, taking a chance on the internet from $20 to $20 million in just a few years. There is unlimited opportunity out there. It's just there. You just haven't seen it yet. Now, as I learned how to build one business, I learned how to build others. This time I call it a dirtbag business. This is during the pandemic. So I happen to own a property in Joshua Tree by the National Park in California. And so I would rent a plot of land, just people just bringing their tent, no amenities, and I would charge them $50 per night. So they would hike during the day, and at night they would enjoy the stars. And I was thinking, how can I make this better? How can I innovate this business? So I bought a pink bus, a converted a 1979 bus, converted into a beautiful room, made it totally off-grid. It was so much fun. I bought a military truck, put an RV, placed a deck, so kind of create my own Burning Man experience. I hired a local cleaner in the area. I automate everything using my virtual assistants from the Philippines, and I was clean $9,000 a month profit doing nothing. How cool is that? See, you can do business into something you already own. You just haven't seen it yet. Now, I love my home country, the Philippines, so I created a tiki hut so I have a place every time I would visit home. So I listed it through Airbnb. And as the demand grew bigger, I built more rooms, and the tiki hut is now one of the top 10 hotels in the world. 2023 won the TripAdvisor Excellence Award. Now you might be thinking, is that possible to own a company from 7,000 miles away? Yes. If you know how to empower your team, make them cherish, celebrate it, and embrace everything is possible. Now, how did this business work? So I utilized influencers marketing, the up-and-coming influencers in the country. The idea is they would stay overnight in exchange for content, videos. And I would chop the content, and it would go viral. 4, 5, 10 million views. It was wild. So I don't have to spend money on ads. How crazy is that? You know, even though I create this beautiful experience, but I think what's the most important thing is you empower your team. Make sure your staff are happy working for you. You know, my staff knows that I work with them. They won't work for me. We work together. Those are two different things. You know, leadership is about admitting that you are wrong sometimes. Leadership is not about being tough and in charge the whole entire time. Leadership is about being human. And when you're being human, you're relatable. And when you're relatable, your team trusts you. And when your team trusts you, trust is the foundation of things. That's how you can scale companies, even without your presence. There are people around the world that wanting to expand their potential and capabilities. Now, the Browns that my moms are referring to are now aspiring to be like me. I've heard the Browns are now building hotels with my competitor. It's okay. Have you ever been in a situation where you're totally out of place, that you don't belong, totally out of your comfort zone? Yes? Anyone? Well, I certainly have. So I'm going to share a story where I certainly feel that way. You know, I met this lady through a Zoom meeting, and we hit it off. Then one day, my friend invited me to attend the Cannes Film Festival. And she happens to live nearby. So we decided to meet up. And she invited me for a tea. As I was waiting there, she sent me a text. I'm going to send you a boat captain. I was like, what? I've never been invited to a tea, and now she's sending me a boat captain. I don't know what to expect. And after a few minutes, the boat captain arrived. His name is Chris. And Chris don't speak English. He's French, so I was doing sign language. I don't know how to act. I don't know what to expect. It was a very short ride, but I have to tell you, I was very nervous. I don't know really how to act. In a few minutes, we dock. We dock in this beautiful palace. I was so nervous. I don't know how to act. I don't want to be ghetto. And then we met. And she gave me a tour of 60 rooms, beautiful palace, clay looking and white, beautiful art. At the end of our tea, she gave me a hug and thanked me for being there and thanked me for being natural. I was surprised of myself. Me? Natural? I was expecting that myself. You know, that lady was so big, but I can tell you. You know that kid that ran around down the street to catch a glimpse of the parade in the island, back in the island? That's still who I am. I'm just not trapped in the same situation. You know, sometimes friendship doesn't come off as a business deal. Sometimes it comes off as a magical moment like this. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, right, that works for you, but not for me. Really? Are you kidding me? Do you remember where I'm from? Do you remember where it started? So if you're thinking that you're not capable of experiencing magical moment like this, you're totally wrong. You know, when you're kind, respectful, and grateful, people are willing to do something great for you. You don't have to do this alone. Ralph Emerson Waldo said, every person at one point is my superior. With that, I can learn. I can learn from others. Access what you need, care about people, and you can do anything. No matter how much you doubt yourself, there's hope that you can have a huge impact in the world. No matter how dumb you think you are, or your brother or sister or somebody else told you so, you can have a huge impact in the world once you decided to do it. I know because I did it. And I did it without having superior intellect. I did it without acing the IQ tests in the world. I did it without having a rich uncle funding me. What in the world would I ever think that I can travel the world, run companies, and employ hundreds of others? You can have a huge impact in the world. I know because I did it. Others have done it. And you can do it too.